All right, and we are back here on the GSMC Football Podcast. And for the second part of the show, we're going to talk about the Seahawks. We'll break down their schedule for 2024. And the Seahawks, they missed out on the playoffs last year. I believe they finished 9-8 last season. And there's no more Pete Carroll, which is kind of a shocker. But yeah, he's no longer there. You got Mike McDonald from the Ravens coming over. And, he was one of the top coaching candidates, during this past coaching carousel cycle, whatever you want to call it. And the Seahawks picked him up. He's a defensive-minded head coach coming over from the Ravens. And, we'll see how it goes. And right now it seems like Geno Smith is the guy that's going to be the starter. I know I've talked up Sam Howell, but maybe I'm kind of overrating him a little bit. I don't know. I feel like Sam Howell could do well with the Seahawks in a better system and, with better playmakers around him as well. But that's just me. But yeah, the Seahawks, they finished 9-8 last season, and, they play in a tough division because you got the 49ers, of course, that have beat up on them the last, few years. And, also the Rams, being back to not exactly how they were in 2021, but still, they were a pretty good team last year. And then you got the Cardinals as well. So, yeah, it's a tough division, and let's kind of go through each of these games here. So, start off the season, they're home against the Broncos, and it's kind of funny because, well, now Russell Wilson's not there anymore. And that was Russell Wilson's very first game as a Bronco a couple years ago now it's a couple of years ago, when they had the Week 1 matchup on Monday night, and the Seahawks won that game. And that was when Geno Smith, had that famous post-game interview where he was like, they wrote me off, but I didn't write back. So, no Russell Wilson. We'll see who ends up being the starting quarterback for the Broncos. Whether it's Jared Stidham, whether it's Bo Nix, Zach Wilson, it's going to be interesting. But I think regardless of who starts, I think the Seahawks get off on the right foot, and I think they win this game here. So I'm going to say they start off 1-0. Then they go to the Patriots. And, I don't have the Patriots winning a ton of games. We'll get to them at some point. Actually, the Cardinals will be tomorrow. And then I think we move on to the AFC. I think I did every division in the NFC. So, yeah, we'll be moving on to the AFC this week. So, we'll get to the Patriots soon. But, again, you got two first-time head coaches going at it, Gerard Mayo, Mike McDonald, like I said. I think the Seahawks are the better team here. So I actually will give them the win as well. So the Seahawks start off 2-0. Look at that. Then we move on to the Dolphins coming into Seattle. Hostile environment, but Dolphins got a high-powered offense. And I think that the Dolphins will win this game. I'll pick them. Again, this is very early, but I'm going to say the Dolphins win this game. So the Seahawks are going to drop to 2-1. Then they take on the Lions in Week 4. And the last couple of years, when these two teams have played against each other, it's been high scoring. To go back to 2022 for a second, because I want to pull up the score from that. And the Seahawks have actually won both games. So they won 48-45. That was back in 2022. And then last year, I think it was, what was the final score? Was it 37-31? It was. There you go. See, I remembered. 37-31, that was an overtime game. And the Seahawks won that. I think in this spot, I think the Lions win this game, though. I think third time's a charm. They beat Seattle finally. And now Seattle is 2-2. Then you got the Giants coming in. They got back-to-back home games against the Giants and the 49ers. I think the Seahawks win against the Giants in Week 5. Not very high on the Giants this year. I know I had them winning 7 games. I think this was one of the games, though, I had them losing. Um, they lost in Seattle a couple of years ago when they made the playoffs. But, yeah, I just think hostile environment. I think the Seahawks are the better team here in this spot. So I'll say the Seahawks win that. 49ers come in. I mean, listen, the 49ers, they've beaten up on the Seahawks the last couple of years. And even in the playoffs. Because, Geno Smith made it in at 9-8. They were the 7th seed. 49ers were the 2. 49ers won that game. Although it was competitive in the first half, but then the 49ers, they took over that game. So, yeah, I think the 49ers win. So, that drops them to where are we at now? So now we're 3. So now the Seahawks are 3-3 at this point. Then they take on the Falcons. Interesting game here. I think the Falcons' offense is going to be good this year with Kirk Cousins now there. I mean, the Falcons are going to be a better team with Kirk Cousins there. I think this game could be very competitive, but I will take the Falcons to win this game. So now the Seahawks drop to 3-4. Now the next 2 games are interesting because you got the Bills coming in. It's going to be interesting to see Josh Allen playing against the 12th man, basically, in that environment. But I think he'll be fine. But yeah, this is an interesting game because, the Bills, we got to see how this offense is. With all the new wide receivers that they have and the changes that they've made, well, like I said, offensively and defensively, because, they did lose some guys. I think the Bills win. I'll take the Bills in this spot. So the Seahawks then drop another game. So now it's interesting because, I don't want to pick them to lose 3 games in a row. Well, actually, yeah, they already lost 3 games in a row the way I'm going. And then they got the Rams. And then they got the 49ers right after that. So I forget what I did with the Rams yesterday, if I had them sweeping the season series. I think I did. I guess we'll keep that. So the Seahawks lose again. And then they lose to the 49ers. So I have them losing to the 49ers, the Falcons, the Bills, the Rams, and then the 49ers again. But then, you know what? I'm going to have them get back on track, and they're going to beat the Cardinals. And then they take on the Jets. I mean, it depends. I mean, look, if the Jets are healthy, I think they should win. Be interesting, though. Geno Smith taking on the Jets. Yeah, I'm going to say the Jets win. Seahawks lose another one. Then they take on the Cardinals in Arizona. That one's a toss-up, that being in Arizona. I'm going to say the Cardinals actually win that game. I'll take the Cardinals. And you know what? I'm actually going to say they upset the Packers in Week 15. And then they win against the Vikings. So back-to-back wins for them. Then they take on the Bears. And it's going to be interesting to see where the Bears are at this point. I think I've said that, whenever I've done these and the team's playing the Bears late in the season. I'm going to say the Bears win, and then I had them losing against the Rams. So, let's see. I had them winning against the Broncos. I had them winning against the Patriots, against the Giants, against the Cardinals, the Packers. Oh, I only got them at 5 wins. I don't think they're gonna. I think they're gonna get more wins than that. Yeah, I think 5 is too low for the Seahawks. Yeah, I mean, again, this is very early. Actually, wait, hold on. So I had Broncos, Giants, Patriots, Cardinals. Oh wait, I had them winning against the Vikings too. Okay, so I had them. All right, so 6-11. Yeah, 6-7 wins. I think maybe they get 7. It is a tough schedule. You got the Bills, the Rams twice, the 49ers twice, the Lions, the Dolphins. You got the Bears later in the season, the Packers, and I actually had them upsetting the Packers. Yeah, I'm going to lean towards 7 wins. I think they get another win somewhere else. Let's say 7. 7-10. Again, but it's a first-time head coach, so, it's not like, it's Pete Carroll still there. Mike McDonald might exceed expectations, and well, I mean, I think people think he's going to be a good coach, but maybe he exceeds expectations his first year, and they finish with a better record than I have him. I'm going to say I think 7-10. I think they get another win somewhere else. I mean, maybe they upset the 49ers, or maybe they split. I mean, I could see them splitting with the Rams more so than the 49ers. So, yeah, I think 7-10. But we'll see. I think they'll lose close games. Like, I think they'll put up points against the Dolphins. They'll put up points against the Falcons. I mean, maybe they beat the Bills. I had them losing against the Bills. I think that's a winnable game, though. The Bears is a winnable game. We'll see. But yeah, that's my schedule breakdown for the Seahawks. So I had them at like I said, I only had like 5 or 6 wins. I think they'll get 7. I think they should get 7. So let me know what you guys think. How many games do you think the Seahawks will win in 2024? So before we go to break, just want to remind you guys once again, tip or donate, get your comments recognized. Make sure to go to the following link. That is GSMCPodcast.net. Again, really helps the show, makes the show more interactive between myself, the host, and you guys, the viewers. Again, that is GSMCPodcast.net. And as always, it is displayed on the ticker at the bottom of the show segment down below. So, when we come back from our second break of the show, we will talk about some comments made by Damian Harris criticizing Bill Belichick for Mac Jones' decline. So we'll get into that when we come back from our second break of the show. So with that being said, stick around, and we'll be right back here on the GSMC Football Podcast.